mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the total monk from a distant land who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake for mini-terrain domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Chult of Personality, our Tomb of Annihilation campaign, episode 46, Pitfall and Tomb Raiders. This is happening every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and once again, we have all 4 players here, and there's never been a more important time to have everybody here than right now. Last episode was Threshold, or at the Threshold, and technically they're still at the Threshold, and we'll get into that in just a moment. First off, I just want to real quick draw attention to the logos down in the lower left-hand corner of the screen there. You see Jasper's Game Day and Initiative Coffee Company. At any time during the stream, you can type in Jasper, or you can type in coffee preceded by an exclamation point, and you will see the direct links to where you can donate to Jasper's Game Day, a charity organization that we are partnered with that is dedicated to the elimination and prevention of suicide. And the Initiative Coffee Company link is for Mitade roast coffee, a Brazilian and Peruvian medium roast coffee. For every 12-ounce bag of coffee you purchase, $3 of that goes to Jasper's Game Day. Of course, with all that money going to fund crisis centers around the nation. And on that note, we do have a special chat command that I have actually just put in there. If at any time you feel that you need somebody to talk to, that things are just getting the better of you and you think life is too hard and you need somebody to talk to, please type help. Call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255, or you can text 741-741. That is the number for the National Suicide Hotline. Please do not hesitate to use that number if you need it. If you are a veteran, you can dial 1 after you dial that number when somebody picks up, and be taken directly to a Veterans Affairs Suicide Prevention Hotline. And we urge you to use that. We think you're important, and trained professionals are waiting to talk to you. We also have that number scrolling down along the bottom, along with some other information. Domain dice, or in this case, domain devils, represented by the larger devil with a 5 directly below me here. And then just over here is one extra one. The players have 6 of them. For a $5 tip or 500 bits, you can give them some more. It's our way that you can influence the campaign. And let me tell you, they need it potentially. This session, they're pretty rough at the start, and it's only going to be downhill from here now that they're inside the tomb. So if you want to have a little bit of influence, you can do so in that way. Everything's explained either by typing domain dice in the chat or reading that scroll. The final thing that I want to say is if you look down below Connor's character art there in the lower right hand corner, you see the D&D Beyond logo. That is because Mini Terrain Domain is powered by D&D Beyond. We are using D&D Beyond character sheets, and I have several tabs open for running the adventure, and you can simply mouse over the window and you can see the sad state of affairs these characters are in right now. You can see conditions, you can see how many hit points they have or do not have. You can click through on those characters, see their character sheets, and so much more thanks to D&D Beyond. All right, we've been waiting all week to get into this, to see what's going to happen, so we are not going to delay any further. This is session 46 of Chult of Personality, Pitfalls, and Tomb Raiders. In the last session, the characters found themselves in possession, or rather at the start of last session, they were in possession of the 9 puzzle cubes procured by themselves, by the Yuan-Ti, and also by some of the Weeping Friars. In the end, it didn't matter who had them because these folks wound up with them. They found a narrow tunnel that when they entered them along with the puzzle cubes, these statues of all of the trickster gods illuminated via these bowls of oil. Vale, standing at the far end, noticed that there was flame coming out from the bottom of the wall and was able to find the hidden door located there. Found the 9th statue of Unk the Flail Snail, upon which was a golden amulet, a locket. When returning back towards the obelisk and towards what they believed to be the entrance to the tomb, where there was a stone wall with 8 square openings, Vale's amulet that he now wore was tugging him further to the west. He investigated, and all of them dug through some foliage and found another entrance, this stone door having 9 holes in it. And then we proceeded to engage with the following puzzle, in which that is located just below me, and the players had to figure out, or the characters had to figure out where to place all of these puzzle cubes. On a whim, they decided to see just what would happen if they put a couple of them in the wrong place. Everybody in the tunnel was immediately hit with lightning that erupted throughout the small entryway and took a fair bit of damage. Copperbell, along with a couple others, took a few steps back to get out of that area as they proceeded to figure out the proper order to place the cubes in. Once the last cube was put in place, there was a brilliant flash of light and all 9 cubes vanished. With a rumble and a grind of stone on stone, the stone door descended down into the floor, opening up a 10-foot wide, 20-foot long hallway with another stone slab door on the far side. This one had a iron lever located in the middle of it. As they began to head towards this lever, halfway through the hallway, at the top of the doorway where there was a stone skull, the skull's mouth opened, a skeletal hand extended outward, holding an hourglass. It turned the hourglass upside down, and the grains of sand rapidly began spilling into the bottom. With less than 10 seconds remaining, they had to make a quick decision. Vale rushed forward, pulled down on the lever, and immediately dropped the entire floor out from underneath the party. He was able to quickly grab hold of the lever, hanging on, dangling above a 20-foot pit trap where Brilinya, Copperbell, Qualu, and Dunala fell. Looking down into the pit, as Vale dangles precariously, Copperbell the Tabaxi, who was looking for an honorable death, lies impaled on several spikes, one of which passes through the back of her head and is now jutting out of her mouth. She is dead at the bottom of this pit. Dunala was punctured by 4 of these spikes. The fall from such a height onto spiked poisoned, or rather poisoned spikes. When he hit, he did not stir. The same for Brilinya, who landed impaled on 3 spikes. Also unconscious. Qualu landed on 4 spikes. Spikes now pierced through his side, one through his back, one through his calf, one through his shoulder. Qualu, you lay on the ground, one hand off to the side, twitching involuntarily as the poison is coursing through your body. You see your own blood poiling beneath you. Just a few feet away from you, you see the open, or rather the closed eyes of Dunala. So at least 3 or 4 spikes puncturing him. He does not move. You can't see Brilinya from where you're at. You can hear Vale, his boots scuffing against the stone as he struggles to maintain his hold on this iron lever 20 feet above at the far end of the pit. Dunala and Brilinya, I would like you each to roll a death saving throw.
$15.
13.
Brilinya, that is 1 fail. This is Meat Grinder in Chult, so 15 and above is needed. Dunala, you have 1 success. Qualu, what would your first reaction be?
Qualu's first reaction would be to try and figure out a way to unimpale himself. What kind of ground is there beneath these spikes? Is there any way that one could stand at all between the spikes, or is it just?
Yeah, the spikes are at random intervals. There's a lot of them, but there's enough that if you can get off of them, you can maneuver around through them. And it's hard, almost like a clay earth that these spikes are set into. So you're going to attempt to pull yourself up off of the spikes. Give me a strength check.
Okay. Sounds good.
And if you succeed, you will use half of your movement to stand up.
Right. That's going to be an 18 plus 5 for 23.
Okay, the DC was 15 on that, so you're able to pull yourself off of these spikes. It's painful, but you do not take any additional damage. Vale, looking down below as you hang from this iron spike, what would you be doing? You see Qualu pulling himself up off of the spike. These spikes, I should say.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm thinking just in a morbid fascination, I would probably just hang there and kind of just watch them die. Just because I've just been so sick to death of just having to carry these soddy bastards the entire way. So my shoulders are sore, and I'm just going to hang out here. I'm just going to let them croak. Screw this.
All right.
No. None of that is accurate. I will. I'm going to cast a spell straight off the hop. I'm going to cast Misty Step.
Misty Step only has a vocal component, correct?
Give me a second. Yes, it does. It is verbal only.
Okay. And where are you heading?
And for the record, if it was somatic, I could hold on by one arm. It's all good. I'm going right down beside Brilinya.
All right. Well, you have a clear view of the ground, so you don't have to worry about hitting the spikes. You can see right where you want to go, and just with a sudden, you're standing next to Brilinya. 3 spikes piercing through her, blood staining her cloak, her robes, and leaking out onto the floor.
Yeah, I'm gonna use lay on hands I'm going to give her 20. Actually, no, I'm going to give her 30 points of healing.
Is that a bonus action? Or no, Misty Step was the bonus action, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Brilinya, you come to in a shock and immediately feel the pain of bruised or cracked bones. You feel the pain of those bones instantly mending themselves together, and you feel the pain of 3 poisoned spikes piercing through your body, and you even feel some of your flesh trying to knit itself around, but not actually doing it. You are in intense pain at the moment.
I can almost imagine that there was silence for Brilinya, darkness. She was floating. And then all of a sudden, it's almost as if these great hands clasp around her and brings her right back down. She can almost see her body impaled on all of these spikes as she's hurtling down towards the earth. And she impacts with her body, and she lets out a sharp intake of breath before she begins crying out and screaming in pain.
Vale, Brilinya has suddenly awoken, screaming at as your hands have sent this magic coursing through her. Brilinya, would you make any other actions, attempting to get up or do anything?
Yes, she would try to get up, or at least unstick herself from these spikes.
Strength check.
Okay. Oh boy.
Vale's right. I'll say that because Vale's right there and literally just laid on hands. Vale, if you see her starting to rise, I imagine you would try helping her up, or would you try to keep her in place?
Of course I'm going to help. No, I'm going to press my foot down. And
well, some medical professionals would say, don't move. So I didn't want to take away your agency.
True,
so you can roll with advantage, Brilinya.
I think the fantasy would, it's fantasy. So I think it would stop at, hey, I just magically healed you. Don't try and aggravate that wound. Let's snap off we're not getting that detailed. But please let me form a triage.
So that's a 6.
That's a 6 total with the advantage?
I have a -2 to strength.
Oh.
This is not going to go well.
All right, so... I'm just trying to remember... let me find... Here it is. 1... The damage... So you do use half your movement, and you are able to pull yourself up. But some of that flesh, as I said, has already started healing around, and you tear it. And you are going to take...
30 points.
No, I'm going to roll the damage for the spikes and cut it in half. That's 7. You take 6 points of piercing damage.
She... Amongst her pain, amongst her screaming, she would look over at Dunala and see that he is also not doing well. So she is going to use her bonus action, if she can, to heal Dunala.
Is that a healing word?
Healing light.
Or healing light?
Yes.
All right.
All right, let's see. I have 10d6 that I can.
Jeez.
But I'm.
This is a warlock feature, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I think I'm going to use 5. So that is going to heal Dunala 21 points.
So, Dunala, we're now going to turn the camera over to you. You've been in kind of a fog for the last, more or less for the last half hour, 45 minutes, ever since you came back from being banished by the warlock, Brother Mateus. You spent but a moment in the fields of Elysium. But when you came back, something was different. The others noticed you weren't quite yourself. You'd kind of put yourself into this. You were just going along with the motions. You offered a little bit of help, but something was off. And that perhaps could account for how in the 9 hells you allowed yourself in this position. What is going through Dunala's head in the moments leading up to while unconscious and as he comes awake?
The first thing that Dunala does the moment he awakes, because the pain is so great that he cannot think, is you hear this very longest as he opens his eyes and he slowly tries to move his head. He can't move his head. The pain is too great. Every muscle in his body feels rigid from it. And the poison is doing him no services whatsoever. He says no words. He thinks no thoughts. He grits his teeth so hard that it almost seems as if his teeth will crack. And he mutters out, "Qualu, what the fuck?" And that's all he can do right now due to the pain.
All right. So, with everybody conscious, Dunala still sort of impaled on the spikes, but awoken and screaming in pain. I'm no longer going to have you moving in turn order. It is now, I'm just going to turn it over to you to figure out what are you going to do to get Dunala free, and how are you going to get yourself out of this predicament?
Quali will run over to Dunala and just rip him free,
Make a strength check.
All right, let's do this. Come on, Qualu, don't fail me now. Okay, that's another 18 on the die for 23 again.
Okay, you are able to pull him straight up off of the spikes without doing further damage. It still hurts like it still hurts
it's like
crazy.
that Tarzan moment when I lift up the corpse of the
You'll notice that as you lift Dunala, the blood that's coming from the wounds is crystal clear and blue and clear in color, as if it was like water. And as you lift him up, Dunala just lets out another fucking hotel stinks. What is happening?
I don't know. Fucking floor gave out.
I imagine Dunala will actually partially laugh at you just saying that you don't know, and then go back to just gritting from the pain. Afterwards, he will then he's going to look around. Is Brilinya still impaled? All right.
No, you pulled yourself off.
Okay.
The DC, the strength check was just to see if you could get yourself off, the spikes without doing extra damage. So
Okay.
you pulled yourself off of the spikes, but you took damage, so you are free.
Seeing Brilinya wounded, Dunala will close his eyes, and then he'll look at himself, and then look at Qualu and seeing Qualu wounded. And then this thing wells up inside of him, and he's not quite sure what it is. It's this movement, this passion, this emotion, and this white light, this jade green light flows from him as he casts Cure Mass Wounds, or Mass Cure Wounds. So let me go ahead and roll that. It's 3d8 plus 5. I think so.
Point of order, Brilinya, Qualu, and Dunala, also, you all have the poisoned condition.
Sick.
I indicated that for you, Dunala. I think I may have checked all of your sheets to make sure that it was activated as a condition.
I have the paralyzed condition on my character sheet.
Oh, it should be poison, not paralyzed. How many hit points was that, Marquise?
20. And as this jade light begins to dim and fade away, you will see that many of your wounds have been completely, if not removed, then heavily mended. You're now on one knee, panting, spitting out water on the ground.
Brilinya walks over to Dunala. She is going to lay a hand on his shoulder, and you feel this warmth radiating. And you almost feel this sense to be sick. And if you are, this wretched just blackness comes from your mouth as well as this blue stuff. And essentially she's casting lesser restoration to rid you of the poison.
And he will fill out this literal poison that he has been horrifically endowed with. And as he does so, when he's done, he'll actually grab your hand on his shoulder. When, without looking up, he'll say, "And are you okay too, Scarlet Dove?"
I hope so.
Good. Then someone please tell me, how the hell did we end up like this? I see. Vale, I'm not sure exactly where I am. The last, but I can't remember anything since the fight. Matthias.
We finally got all the cubes. We killed the brother Matthias.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of say that like a little bit too, like we did it, but also, yeah, we did it.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, we got the cubes, got everything, tried to solve a puzzle, failed once, but then did not fail again, thankfully. Made it into the tomb. And then this shit happened.
This is a shame, he says, as he looks to Copper Bell and he sees the ruin of her form. And he's going to spend more sorcery points, and he wants to telekinetically, casting telekinesis, lift the corpse off of the spikes. And as he does so, he will say, "A beautiful tabaxi, and a fierce warrior. This is not the death she deserved, but it is the death she has."
That's true. So who else is poisoned?
I'm fine.
Everyone but Dunala.
No, everyone but Vale.
And then
Okay.
because Dunala got healed already.
Oh, wait. Healed.
I cast lesser restoration on him.
Oh, yep.
So basically, so it's only Qualu and Brilinya.
Yes.
All right.
And Qualu's veins are like turning black from the chest wounds and the arm wound or whatever that.
All right.
These things. He's like, "I'm fine.
Yeah.
Get us out
All
of this
right.
death trap."
Oh, shut up. And I'm going to cast protection from poison on both of them. So if they're poisoned, it's neutralized.
Just for the duration, or forever?
For the duration, which is 1 hour, you also have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned, and if you have resistance to poison damage. A lot of goddamn stuff. This is a goddamn powerful spell.
Yeah, it actually, reading the spell, it doesn't just neutralize it for the duration. You neutralize the poison.
That's cool. All right.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I understand now. That was a little bit confused there.
But,
yeah,
for the duration...
Yeah, for 1 hour now, you have advantage on saving throws against being poisoned, and you have resistance to poison damage.
Nice.
So, I'm going to say, this doesn't deal with the timing of your spell, but I'm going to say that it's going to be, with the healing and getting everybody off the spikes and everything, about 10 minutes has passed since you sprung this trap.
While this is going on with Vale casting that spell, Dunala will raise his other hand. He has one hand already holding up telekinetically Copper Bell. With his other hand, he'll cast Infestation. and these spectral insects, these ants, these kind of really weird things native to Chult, made of like sapphire, emerald, will swarm and consume Copperbell's body and then kind of disintegrate into dust along with a corpse, leaving nothing. And as this is happening, Dunala is just saying various prayers under his breath as he disperses with her and sends her off into the next world, even though he also knows the Soulmonger has her.
All right. Thank you to Dice on Ice and Star N for those. Little meta magic there, getting some extra domain dice. And excellent. So you have essentially performed a sort of a funeral rite for Copperbell. Make me a religion check.
Gotcha. Ooh, it's a natural 20, so it's a 20 plus do I have religion? Yeah, 23.
Though this was may or may not have been your motivation, you get this sensation that this act would have pleased Ubtao.
And satisfied that he's done his funerary rite correctly, as there's really no way that he could know what he's doing in some ways because the religion's been destroyed. He will nod to himself and he'll look to you, Vale, and he'll say, well then, it is time for us to get out of here, yes? And keep on moving.
It is, yeah, but look, if I looked around down here in this pit, does there seem to be any sort of a door or any sort of a thing?
So
Like
here,
some signs pointing to it saying, this is the way out, all of you that survived.
here's what you can see. You are in a pit that is 10 feet across and 20 feet long. At the northern end of the pit, 20 feet up, you see the iron lever that you were hanging from. At the southern end, you can see, if you look from the northern end, you can just make out the opening of the door you came through to get into this area. And you can see the two halves of, on the other side, the two halves of the floor that fell aside. This is all smooth, hard clay, walls and floor. And the only area that there's any sort of floor with purchase is on the southern end, near where you entered, where the puzzle door closed. And there's the lever that is currently in the down position up above your head.
That thing held your weight.
Yes, Squad, I was going to say you should go ahead and climb, throw down some rope, we can climb up after you.
And with that, Quali will fashion a noose out of his rope and trying to toss it up over the lever to try and get a sturdy hold.
Okay, I'm gonna have you make a athletics check to attempt to lasso this.
Yeehaw! Oh, that's a shitty roll. Can I? No, never mind.
Do you have the rope handling skill?
I mean, I did work as a dock worker before.
Dunala will say that if you can just throw the rope, Dunala says if you can just throw the rope over there, I can do something to make sure the rope stays. So you have to get the rope just around it.
All right. I rolled a 13 total on actually getting it over the lever. So
Basically, it goes up and it sort of falls about 2 feet short of the lever and drops back down.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's your plan. Dunala just throws it up.
He just keeps throwing it out.
To have it land somewhere over the pit.
Yeah, because he just needs it to land at some point, at the edge or anything. So.
Yep.
So, are you aiming for the lever or on the north end, or for the opening on the south end?
I'm aiming for the perimeter of the pit.
There is no perimeter of the pit.
So let's just do the opening.
Because the floors fell at the wall towards the inside. They're flush up against the walls now.
Oh, gotcha.
There is no ledge.
Mm-hmm. So he throws it like into the opening, will the rope just like go into the opening and like dangle down but not be secured on anything?
Yeah,
That's what.
you could
Perfect.
throw it to the opening to the south and basically like throw it 20 feet up and it lands in a coil.
Yep.
When it lands, he will take out a water skin, and you will see these lights kind of like bubbling up from his wrist and his hand, and he will cast shape water and pull the water out of the water skin as a long rope, and then raise it as a ball to where the rope is, and then freeze it at the ledge to kind of like secure the rope right there, so we can kind of use it to pull ourselves up.
Okay.
And I'll give it a nice test heft.
You give it a test, and it holds, but you sense in the jungle heat, you might not have long. So if you're going to try to get out this way, you might want to hurry up. 10,
And I will scramble
9,
up that.
8. I'm just kidding.
I'll make my orcish lineage proud by just.
And what Denali will do, because with shape water, it says it can't be fully thawed for 1 hour. So every time someone's pulling themselves up, he will just basically continually kind of recast it to make sure it stays like frozen. And then he'll be the last one who will go up.
Okay. All I need is from each person an athletics check as you climb up the rope, because it's a 20-foot
Got a
climb.
nat 20 for a total of 29.
Qualu does that thing where legs dangling. It's all upper body strength. Boo, 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 boo.
I'm actually just running up the wall, just using the rope as kind of a guide.
Like the reverse of a rappel.
Yeah.
All right, who's next? Vale or Brilinya?
I got a 3.
You see, I just imagine it's like that, like in the movies. You see Brilinya like, and the camera pans away, and she's like 2 feet off the ground. But I imagine others would be able to assist you. What were you going to say? It sounded like I was going to hear a "to be fair."
To be fair, she has like gouging holes in her shirt and outfit, so bleeding everywhere.
To be fair, so did Qualu. I'm just saying.
He doesn't have the power of Grumsh flowing through every single muscle fiber in the body.
If Brilinya can't make it up by herself, Dunal will look to her and he say, "I will help you up there in a moment if you're willing to wait."
Yeah. Brilinya stops and she looks down, but she nods.
All right, this almost seems unnecessary, but Vale, give me a strength roll, an athletics check.
That's 23.
Beat you.
Also, no problem for Vale to clamber up the rope.
Dunal has 12.
You have to roll a natural 20 in order to do that. Just saying. Well, and that wasn't that by that much. So, this and this is going to be going on now. The entire dungeon until we're done, Connor.
Natural 20s.
Oh yeah.
All right, Dunala, how are you assisting? How are you assisting Brilinya?
He's going to try and climb up first, because when he gets to the top, and if he can't make it, he's going to do it regardless. He's going to basically cast telekinesis and put her up there.
All right.
So when I got a 12 on the check to see if he can climb the rope.
Yeah, so you are also able to climb up the rope.
And then when he gets to the top, he'll look down to Brilinya and he'll say, "Relax your body, Scarlet Dove. This will be strange, but..." And then before he finishes the sentence, he will cast telekinesis on you and pull you to the ledge.
You are lifted and for a moment weightless as you are pulled through the air by Dunala's ability. And you find yourself up on the ledge looking into this room that you all were in about 10, 12 minutes ago before the floor fell aside. The current status you are in is that the door that you put the puzzle cubes into has descended into the floor, and the floor opened when you pulled the lever. You also remember that the puzzle cubes vanished before the door went down. What is your next course of action?
Dunala will cast Shape Water to take the ice and put it back into his water skin, knowing this will definitely be useful later on. So just to get like an orientation of the room again. So we had this door we came through, and then we have the pit, and then we have the lever on the other side of the pit, and like nowhere else to go. Correct.
The lever is set into a stone door.
Okay. So Dunala will look to you, Vale, and he'll say, "From now on, we will do my water trick to pull any levers from a distance, because I am not doing this again. It was very painful."
I agree.
So one of the things with shape water, it lets me animate the water, so it can like move around like basic stuff. And I'm just going to use shape water and have it go and like lift the lever back up.
So yeah, you manipulate, you water bend your water skin water as it moves across this hall like a tendril, and it wraps, sort of coils around this iron lever and manipulates the lever into a back up into the upward position, and you hear this ka-chung, and you hear some sort of mechanism resetting within. You can almost feel it in your feet, and then you watch as the two halves of the floor until they're perfectly level again.
And then Dunala pulling the water back and putting back in the water skin. He will take one foot. He's not stepping on the whole thing. He's going to press it onto. Oh wait, he'll press it onto the floor, and then he'll say, "Qualu, press your foot with this as well. I want to see how solid it is. Not step onto it. We're not doing this again."
And all right.
Do we still have that 10-foot pole that we got that Ubo had that was like magical and could extend, or do we lose that?
That was on Ubo when he vanished.
Yeah, I should have killed him and took him on that chance.
So what are you asking Vale to do?
No, me and Qualo basically like was stepping on the ground, not like stepping, like walking onto it, but just like reaching out with a foot, and we're just making sure this ground is stable so we can walk across it.
So you're just kind of gingerly taking a step, taking another step?
Yeah, well, just one step, because I feel like it's about to like drop and we just jump off of it.
It feels completely and utterly firm.
All right, Qualo, step back. I will go first, and then we will see what happens. And then he will basically race across the room.
Like before, the others will remember, when you get halfway across the room, the skeletal face above the far stone door, the jaws open, a skeletal hand emerges from within, holding this hourglass. And sand begins to rapidly fall. What would you like to do? 10, 9, 8.
Dunalo will
7.
So, is there like no other door in this room?
5.
All right, Dunalo's just going to, he's going to cast shape water and freeze the water. Freeze the same for the all-way turn.
You're gonna do freeze what?
Yeah, so is the hand like turning like this?
No, it turned, and so that the hourglass was inverted.
Oh my
and
God.
The sand began to fall. 3.
I'm using telekinesis and flipping it back around.
2. It does not budge.
Fucking damn
1.
it. Telekinesis myself, so I'm levitating.
The last grains of sand fall through the glass in the hourglass. The hand turns sideways. Pulls in, the jaws close. The iron lever flips up into a recess that suddenly appears in the door. And the stone door drops down, revealing the further entrance into the tomb of the 9 gods.
Well, I've never
whipping move.
but I hate
Sorry, both of you were just speaking at the same time.
Dunala will, letting go of his telekinesis spell, will look at you and say, "I've never doubted you once as my Lord and my Messiah, but you have made a very crucial mistake today."
Yeah.
Where is Moyo? We also need Moyo out here.
Oh, right. Sure. And I'll call Moyo forth.
You perform the somatic motions, say the magic words, and Moyo does not appear.
Of course. This place is bewitched by Esselak. I don't know why we would have thought otherwise.
Well, guess it's just us.
Just us. He goes in. He looks at the door, and then he looks to Vale, and he looks to the door, and then he looks to Vale.
I'm going through first. Don't worry. Don't you worry your pretty little head.
Let me explain what you see then. As this door has opened, you can actually see about the light from outside still extends inward, and you can see the hallway is still stone. It is stone tiled. It is 10 feet across. It extends for about 40 or 50 feet. This corridor is moss covered and extends beyond the second door. You see tree roots hanging from the sagging ceiling, and a reeking odor of rot and damp decay ushers forth from within. From where you are now, within the hall, that's all you can make out.
Give it to me one more time, boss. Jake's like, what?
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said.
Give it to me one more time, the description.
It's 10 feet wide. You can see about 40 or 50 feet in. Tree roots hang from the sagging ceiling. The floors are moss covered, and a smell of damp, rotting decay ushers forth.
So am I at a spot where I'm still on the stone floor? I haven't stepped onto the mossy floor or anything yet?
Nobody has stepped through the doorway yet.
Dope. Okay. Well, let me tell you, mister. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab one of my torches.
All right.
And what the hell did I just do? I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my torches, and I'm just going to touch the ground. I want to see if the torch melts or some horrible thing by like patting the mossy ground with.
So you're just going to reach through the door and like just kind of poke the ground?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
I ain't messing around anymore.
Do you light the torch or just an unlit torch?
It's an unlit torch.
All right.
I have dark vision. I'm cool.
You feel it touch the ground. It's a little bit squishy wherever there's patches of moss. Otherwise, there's stone tiles on the floor. And nothing happens. You can see as you're leaning in now and your eyes adjust a little bit. It looks like beyond the light that extends in, the corridors are all dark within. So unless you actively switch to dark vision, you can't really see beyond the 50 feet. And then if you do switch to dark vision, of course, everything's in black and white. I believe Dunala
No longer has it.
is the only one without dark vision.
Dunala, unperturbed by the darkness as he lived his whole life swallowing it, will lift his left hand, and 3 stones will lift from the ground. Are there like pebbles around here before I do this? Any pebbles?
Yeah, because you haven't really fully gone in yet, and no doors are closed. You could easily get 3 pebbles.
The 3 pebbles come snapping into his hand, and he closes his hand around them, and he opens them. They're all perfectly round now, and they're these beautiful jade and emerald pebbles. He's casting magic stone, which is a cantrip, to make each one do 1d6 damage plus his spellcasting modifier, and they can go 60 feet when he throws them. He's going to throw all 3 of these pebbles, still not in the room. He's throwing them at the ceiling. That looks like it might like collapse at any time. He's trying to see if parts of the ceiling will collapse when he throws the stones at them.
What spell did you cast on them?
It's a cantrip called Magic Stone.
Alrighty, so you target the ceiling with them?
Yep.
The ceiling is 10 feet across, 20 feet long, so I'm not going to make you roll to hit, because that would be ridiculous. So, what happens when the stones...
They will do 1d6 plus my spell, plus 5 damage each. So for a total of, it would be 17 points of damage with all 3 stones titled up of magical damage.
As you hurl these stones at the ceiling, there's this sort of, and several of the tree roots break apart. Some of the earth and stone crumble from the ceiling and clatter to the ground in small clumps, but nothing more than that happens. In fact, you can glimpse in the momentary flash of light that there are small divots where these stones struck, leaving gouges in the ceiling, but it doesn't appear that anything's breaking loose or falling down. This is the part of the adventure where dungeon crawling paranoia has set in.
You guys are all paranoid. And Quali will just step forward.
Well,
Pass
you
you guys.
idiots.
Qualu, how far in are you going? Are you just stepping across the threshold, or are you going to walk in a little ways?
He'll walk a little ways in.
Because we are now in this sort of dungeon crawl aspect, I will be asking for your marching order more often than not. And it's a 10-foot hallway, so I'm always going to need to know, for reasons, if you're going to the left or to the right side or down the middle. So what would you do as you charge in, Qualu, and walk about, 10, 15 feet?
So he's not going to charge in like a blind idiot. But yeah, he'll just walk ahead. He's just going to look kind of just around, look up at the ceiling, look out on the floor. But otherwise, just walks down the middle.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead as you're walking? What is
your reflex saving
No,
throw?
what is your passive perception?
My PP is, I believe, a whopping 14.
All right.
I'm glad it's not a 10. I
Okay.
thought it was a 10.
So you walk in, you can see it almost looks like some foliage has started to grow along where the floor and the wall meets. And did you say you were walking 10 or 15 feet in?
Yeah.
10 or 15 feet?
Oh, it's 10. Let's go for 10 for now. And actually, I think he will pull out like this kind of machete-like blade that he has, and kind of like just kind of scrape on the wall as well if he can reach it. Just kind of clear away any kind of underbrush or moss from the stone, just to see if anything like written on it.
So you're walking in and sort of swatting at some of this underbrush and looking around, seeing where Dunala's stones hit the ceiling. And when you get about 10 feet in, you feel the stone shift beneath your feet, and you hear a click, and then you hear thump. And there's a 13 does not hit you, correct?
Off my armor.
So actually, you hear this thump, and a small dart shoots out of the wall from hanging moss and slams into the stone on the other side and clatters to the ground. It's a really small dart, but as it hits the wall and clatters to the ground, it falls near your feet, and you see, as it's sitting there, a clear liquid dripping from its tip.
What was that sound, Qualu?
Dart throwers in the walls here.
Dart
Watch your
thrower?
step.
Did you step on something? Did it happen when you did this again?
And I think I'm keeping this part of the floor depressed with my foot. And he kind of look around on the ground for any kind of like heavy branch or piece of rubble that he can kind of place on this plate.
There's no piece of rubble or branch that looks like it would be of any significant amount of weight.
He's going to try his best to kind of look around basically what made this plate or this pressure look a bit different than the surrounding floor.
Give me a investigation check.
Sure.
Sorry, I was stuttering because I was trying to tell you the DC without telling you what it was.
So that's a total of 6.
While you're standing on this floor tile, it's indiscernible to you from other tiles around it. It looks the same, just an old cracked stone tile.
All right, well, just watch your step. I don't know where this thing came from. And he'll actually like kind of brush away where the dart came out of to see if there's any more holes in there.
It sounds like Dunal is thinking this, and obviously you can't tell me if I'm right or not, but Dunal is thinking that the moss on the ground is covering all these different like pressure plates and stuff. He's going to relate that to everyone else. He's going to look to you, Vale, and he's going to say, you have a torch? Is there a possible way? Well, and he looks to you again, Kwalu. Did the dots come high? Did it come medium? Or did it come low? Waist, shoulder, foot?
How high did it come, Jake?
Well, I need you to make a perception check.
All right. That's going to be a total of 20.
So as you're sort of brushing along the wall, you're moving some of this aside, and your finger, you just sort of find a hole, and almost like a depression, and then you realize all along these walls are tiny holes that look like they have tubes in them.
All walls lined with them. And are they like both up and down?
They're anywhere from knee, depending on whether you're, well,
Okay.
for you guys, you're all medium size. So there'd be anywhere from knee to probably shoulder height.
So if we army crawled across, we would be like underneath where the lowest holes are, correct?
If you crawled across,
Yeah, like if we got on our stomach, because obviously it's lower than the knee, and we just like crawled across, we would be like lower than these lowest holes, correct?
But see, that's going to trigger the Resident Evil part of this trap, where actually like these blades come out of the floor.
Good.
that does now.
Diallo, with this information, will look at everyone and say, give me the torch if you would, that I can no longer see in the darkness there. And then we will crawl on our stomachs along the moss, so that we will underneath where these dots will come through. And me and Kwalu will go first to make sure that nothing pops out of the ground, such as blades from a video game called Resident Evil.
Yeah, I'll lead the way.
All right, and then I'll take the torch, assuming Vale gives it to me, and I'll start army crawling alongside Kwalu.
Are you lighting the torch then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And as I'm crawling, I want to be taking my time because I want to kind of be like moving moss, like as I'm going, to try and see if I can find pressure plates.
Okay.
Like, excellent.
I'm gonna have you this to get the full length of this corridor is 30 feet. So I'm gonna have you make 3 investigation checks.
All right, let's do 3d20 here. Dice rollers. And then what the fuck is my modifier?
I'm actually gonna have you do it at advantage, since Kwalu already triggered it and found the holes in the wall. You kind of have a sense of what you're looking for.
All right. So then the lowest I have is an investigation, correct?
Yep.
The lowest I have is a 16. That advantage saved me. I would have failed the last one, but I was 16.
So here's what you find. As you are crawling your way along this corridor, you find 10 feet in on the left side of the corridor, you find the pressure plate that Kwalu triggered. It looks like this pressure plate, you can surmise, activated one at least of these darts in the wall to shoot out. It does have a bit of movement to it. While you're laying down, would you try to push on it?
Yeah, I would push my hand down on it.
Give me a strength check.
All right. Then I should just thunderclap it and be done.
I'm actually, weirdly, this is a form of a knowledge check, but I'm having you do it through strength.
It's I'm gonna do a domain dice because I got a 5.
Okay.
The brain cells in my muscles.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I got a nat 20, add on the modifier, so this is a 20.
Okay, so basically what you figure out as you start pushing into it is you can feel a slight bit of give, and you kind of have to lean into it, and you kind of get a sense that it's going to take, it's hard to tell from laying down, but you would estimate somewhere between 15 and 30 pounds of pressure is enough to set these pressure plates off. And when you do this, you hear another thump, and over your head, as one of these darts shoots out, hits the wall, and clatters to the ground.
And then Dunal will basically say, if you put your weight, specifically your weight, onto one of these, you will see a dot come across. Now, Brilinya, you are light, but I don't think you've been trained in the ways of walking stealthily. There, I believe you may be lighter on your foot if you were to try and race across. But I do think that crawling is the best way, and then Dunal will keep crawling and looking for more pressure plates.
After about 20 feet, you find another pressure plate on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately 5 feet in front of that at an angle on the left side, you find another pressure plate.
Mm-hmm.
You close the last 5 feet, and those are the only 3 pressure plates that you identified.
And Dunal will stand up and say, I've found who they are. You can, assumably, maybe, don't. You can maybe walk across if you don't touch on the plates, but there may be other traps here I did not find. Take your own risk.
So Vale and Qualu, I assume you were just kind of crawling along right behind Dunala.
I believe I was leading the way rather than following Dunala.
Were you leading the way?
I believe, yeah. I'm just.
He was kind of just like going ahead because he moves faster than me and shit, and he has night vision, and I had the torch.
It's irrelevant if you would have triggered any of them because you're low enough that they wouldn't hit you. So Vale and Brilinya, how do you want to approach this? Do you want to try to run across? Do you want to try to follow Dunala's guidance, or do you want to crawl?
I'll walk. I'll walk across and just remembering where Dunala pointed out where the triggers are. I'll just move around them.
And to help him, I would be casting like infestation to kind of create like this glowing like jade and like emerald and sapphire bugs, like whenever they would get close to a point, and so that they know to avoid that spot.
Excellent, yeah, and you're able to maneuver your way through, carefully stepping over that last spot where there's 2 pressure plates near each other, and get to the other side. Brilinya, do the same?
Yeah, Brilinya is going to follow very closely behind Vale, mimicking his step where he steps.
All right. See, that wasn't so bad. You've made it through your very first hallway in the tomb. You now stand at a T intersection. You can see that the corridor extends about 30 feet to the west and 30 feet to the east. But there are a couple features of note here. First item of note is probably the most prominent item, and that is what is on the north wall where you all stand. You see almost from floor to ceiling height. You see this, which is actually I want to check and see. So I tell you the proper heights in here. That the ceilings are 8 feet high in the corridors. So extending almost a full 8 feet from the floor to the ceiling and appearing as if it comes directly out of the stone with no discernible seams is a massive green devil face. Its mouth open in a silent scream. Its stone eyes staring straight ahead at you. Utter, total blackness is in its open mouth. Even the light of Dunala's torch does not penetrate this darkness.
I'm going to cast Crown of Madness, and I'm going to get Qualu to stick his whole head in there.
Okay.
No.
Looking at
One of these days, Mike, I'm going to just say, okay, that's what
Yeah,
happens.
you're done. Got no take backsies. However, I don't have that spell, so.
But the tomb gives and the tomb takes away.
Okay, now that would just. Well, then I cast Wish, and
Oh, wow, yeah. Listen, I cast a meteor swarm and I cave in the entire Tomb of Annihilation.
there you go.
But,
You think that Serac hasn't thought of all your tricks?
Dunala will look at Qualu and say, "Friend, I've known you for a long time and do not do it."
Come on.
No, do not do it. This is not the docks. This is not some nice little fucking treasure hole. I don't know what you might think is in there, but there's nothing that I want to see you touch. Now, if they would like to touch it, not sure.
How
So
about
then I
with
stick my head in there.
Could use a branch.
Is it made of obsidian?
The mouth is big enough to give you a sense of the size of this thing, any one of you could easily crawl through the opening in the mouth.
If you people are desperate for us to see what's in there, I can throw the torch in there, but I suspect this is a magical darkness. Bill, can you see through magical darkness?
Of the devil's sight about you.
Damn it, Bill, you took the wrong invocation.
I did.
If you want, I can throw this in there, or Qualu can throw this in there as he will have better aim than I. But
Let's not even.
I agree. I was just saying, if you wanted to be suicidal, Qualu, we could do so. But I suggest that we pick a direction and go.
A charge is here with you, not at the inside some strange green
To-
devil face. Just to clarify.
To add a little bit to your decision making, as you're staring at this large green devil face, 10 feet down the hallway to your left, there is set into the middle of the floor a large iron grate. It is round and it is made of a metal mesh, and you can hear the sound of rushing water through it. 15 feet beyond that is, you can see all along the walls in here too, and on the ceiling there's creepers and vines clinging to the corridors, but at the end of this, beyond where this grate is in the floor, set into the wall at the end, 6 feet wide and 10 feet high down here, is an arched crystal window. The same distance to your right, to the east, the corridor appears to open up. You can see a bit of a railing and some sort of almost like to a balcony, and you can see it opens into a large open area. Crystal window and grate to the left, opening to the right. Devil face in front of you.
Any suggestions?
I could look through all of these walls and see what lays on the other end, on the other side.
What now?
She has ghost sight. The other invocation.
Which one is that?
Ghostly gaze. So Brilinya's eyes would flash this brilliant blue, and even in the dark, you can see her eyes glowing, and so she can see 30 feet past solid objects for 1 minute. So she's going to look on these 3 sides to see what lays beyond these walls.
I'm just checking something. I'm looking through a Sarax book of rules of the tomb.
Every dungeon master needs one.
Right. Wait. Okay, that's not it. And this is ghostly gaze, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
It's not replacing dead characters yet. Yeah, this is the dungeon master desperately seeing is there a way to avoid this. Okay, this is what I need to see right here. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I figure that portion out, because I didn't realize you had that invocation. Now, rather than later realize, oh wait, we shouldn't be able to do this, or rule the other way and say, yeah, you could all along. So, where are you standing when you cast this? And does it move with you, or? Well,
yeah, she just she looks with her eyes, so it's just wherever she looks. So she would move. She would be initially in the center of the room when she cast it, but she would move accordingly to be able to see through the 3 walls.
Okay. And it lasts for a minute. Okay. Cool. So, interestingly, standing there where the devil face is, you see stone and nothing but darkness beyond the devil face. To the right of the devil face, looking 30 feet, all you see is solid stone. Immediately opposite that, so I'm going to use cardinal directions at the 8 points, and we'll just go clockwise. So that's at the north position is where you see the magical darkness. At the northeast position, you see nothing but stone. To the east is, of course, an open corridor, so you can see through that way. To the southeast, you see nothing but solid stone. To the south, of course, is open trapped corridor that you just passed through. To the southwest, you see a lot of solid stone, but you see a little ways down, you see where a river, an underground river, cuts through. It's about 10 feet wide, and then solid stone on the other side. To the west is the crystal window, and to the northwest, you see that same river, and of course it seems to pass under where this metal grate is, and then you see a lot of solid stone. Within that time, you could move all the way over to where the crystal window is, and you can actually see through the glass of this window without this sight. You can actually see through the glass that there is a grand chamber 50 feet across. Nope, that is the wrong way. You don't see that. That's what you see to the other direction. You see a grand chamber 50 feet across and plunging down into darkness below. There's a stone balcony that goes all the way around this 50-foot room, and it connects 4 different archways, and you can see other balcony levels down below with corridors radiating off in all directions. And to the north, you can see a stone staircase descending to the lower levels. But when looking through the crystal window, what you really see is a vaulted tomb that is overgrown with moss and creepers. A stone sarcophagus is resting in a stepped dais in the middle of the floor. On the wall behind the sarcophagus are 2 large statues of bears, and they grip a 5-foot diameter bronze disc embossed with a dozen glaring eyes. 6 desiccated corpses are slumped on thrones in niches along the wall. Each corpse appears to be wearing a black mask made of papier-mâché and feathers. And as the last waning light of this vision passes, while you're standing at the crystal window, 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 5, 10, 15, 20. That is you can just sort of see where, start to see through the stone of the 2 closest on either side to the left and right as you look into this room. These thrones that are in these niches, and the vision doesn't extend beyond that. And then it fades away. So an underground river appears to run beneath that grate. There's a tomb of some kind on the other side of, a tomb on the other side of the, I guess we'll call them crypts in here, of the crystal glass. And there appears to be a large 50-foot diameter staircase and balconies to the right. And of course, there's that green devil face.
So Brilinya would relay all of this information to the others after she has kind of flitted around, looking about, seeing all that she can. And then she would look to the others for some sort of decision.
I'm going to break that window.
Let's have a look at the window first. There's a very good chance that there could be something on there we need to look at.
Might be
Oh.
bedeviled.
Dunala will lift his left hand, 3 more pebbles. He casts Magic Stone. He will walk partial. How long is this corridor to get to the window? You said 30 feet?
Yeah, it's 30 feet.
Okay, I'll make it fine. So standing where he is, he's going to throw all 3 of the magic pebbles at the window to try and shatter it.
Okay.
Are you sure we don't want to read it first before you go and break it?
If I read it, I might be bewitched by some spell on it.
All right, fine. Then hold on.
No?
I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to read whatever's on the stained glass.
Now, if you read it and you die, what does that leave me, Vale?
Still alive to carry on the good works of Ubtal. See? All works
That's
out.
cheating, but I'll let it work for now.
Oh, good.
So Vale, you're gonna go check out the crystal window.
Yeah, I'm going to advance slowly, and I just want to kind of like, basically, well, you were also in the military. You know the training when you're walking and you're supposed to like step in a certain way to kind of like make sure that there's no like landmines or
Yep.
others
Yep.
like that. Basically like that, kind of walking very, very carefully, kind of moving my hands very gently to see if I can feel any sort of anything, tripwires,
All right.
magical spider webs gonna kill me or some shit. I don't know. But needless to say, very, very
Okay.
carefully, straight to the window.
Because you are doing so carefully, I want you to roll with advantage and give me an investigation check. Or rather, a perception check, not investigation.
Just for the heck of it, I would assume that my passive insight wouldn't do anything. Would it?
Passive insight wouldn't. What's your passive perception?
My passive perception is 13. So
No, so you have to actively roll.
Yarp. Dang. Well, it's a... Oh, wait, never mind. So, my investigation, I got a 17.
You take every precaution as you move towards, and as you get within a few feet of the crystal window, your eyes are drawn to the sight, much as Brilinya described it, on the other side. And that's, you look down just as you see something stretching across the corridor. Your ankle catches on it. And as you pull your foot back, you realize it's a thin tendril of root that has searched for water stretching across the corridor. And it poses no threat. You make it to the window without a problem.
And you know what? I'd rather be a paranoid little bitch than lose a foot.
Then dead.
Than dead.
So you get to this window, and it is 6 feet wide. It's 10 feet high, arched at the top, and there is leading all through it, but it's clear crystal. There's a slight bit of distortion as you look in on the other side, but other than that, it just appears to be a large, heavy glass window.
Nothing, no writing, nothing I can discern on this thing.
No, there's no writing on it of any kind.
All right, well, disappointed, I'll look back at Dunala and kind of just point at the window. Go ahead.
Are you going to stand next to it? Or are you going to go back?
No, I'm going to step back. Well, actually...
You said I turn around and look at Dunala. That's why I asked.
That actually...
Like, Vale, come here. We'll not listen.
That depends, actually, because if he threw something with enough force, most of it would shatter inward, as glass
It could be an
does.
explosion. Vale, listen.
All right, yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
And then once Vale's at least 30 feet away from the window.
So he's back over by you.
Yeah. Basically, all the way back to me is when I will unleash the magic stones.
All right. What's your spell attack modifier?
+9. Let me double check. Yeah, +9.
All right. Just roll a 2 hit.
All right, so it's going to be 3 hits. It's going to be 3d20 again. So that's a 16. So +9. So that's a hit. And then the last one's 8 + 9, so 17.
Okay. How do you know they're hits? I didn't tell you what the.
Well,
The hit
if
was.
it has an AC higher than 27, I will be very impressed. 25,
Oh,
I
it was
mean.
a 16 on the die.
Yeah, I got two 16s on a die and then an 8.
Everything in the tomb is AC 30.
Oh, sick. Nice. They all bounce off. They reflect and they hit do not.
Okay,
look.
what's the
Lowest I got is a 17. The other two are 25s.
No, that's fine. I need to know what the damage of each individual stone
alright.
is.
Let me roll that up for you. 3d6 plus 5. All right, so the first stone is going to be 6 plus 5, so 11. The second stone, 8, and the last stone, 6.
All three of these stones, they hit the glass, and you hear this, and you see for a moment almost like a spider webbing across the surface of the glass, and there's this hollow sort of ringing, and the glass remains undamaged.
That is powerful magic I like I set up here. Well then, if anyone has any other ideas, Kualu, if you want to try.
Bigger rock.
Mike.
I don't know. Maybe we should move back into the 30 feet for safety.
Listen, Vale, if you want to, you can go all the way back to the lever and pull the lever maybe 3 or 4 more times. Now, listen, Kualu, I have 2 suggestions for us. One suggestion, you go with your big sword bone and you hit it several times. Second suggestion is I throw a fireball at it.
Haven't you already spent your magic enough today?
I've used a lot of power, yes, but you know I love to throw fireballs at things.
Maybe we're just not meant to
Save
break
the
this
fireball
thing.
for a better occasion. Huh?
We're not meant to be here at all.
I'll shatter it.
Connor, I don't know if you changed something, but your volume got lower than everybody. Might just be your mic position.
Is that better?
No.
Not really.
No?
I mean, Marquise ordinarily dominates over everybody else's voice, but I really can't hear you when he's talking.
Listen, I don't want to hear all that. The willy whammy shit.
I mean, we can still hear you. You're just a little on the quiet side.
I don't know what happened.
All right.
Oh well, I will shout to compensate.
Yeah, well, scream.
So what were you going to do?
I will attack it with my greatsword to try and shatter it, striking at the spider webbing that has occurred.
All right. You walk up to it and you pull out your great bone sword.
My greatsword.
Make an attack against this window.
I am no longer poisoned. Oop, that's okay. That's going to be a 19 plus whatever my attack bonus is. 12. 31 to hit. Ha! I beat the Tomb of Annihilation.
All right, now roll damage.
Who is it? Okay. All right. 9 plus 8 is 17 damage. And it is magical damage because I have a magical greatsword.
Okay. You slam in a big arcing hit. You slam as much of the blade into this crystal window as you can.
One note as well is it is adamantine, my sword, if that has any ramifications here. I believe I auto-crit against objects.
Since when do you have an adamantium sword?
Since you gave it to me when I made my character.
Jake is like, wait a second here.
Wait, it does what? It auto crits against.
Well, what does it say in Xanathar's?
Yeah, it all,
That's fine. It's fine. You beat the damage threshold anyway.
Good.
I
totally forgot about that.
So as you hit, there's that's almost metallic ringing, almost like striking a gong sound. Immediately, the window goes opaque as 1,000 spider webs crisscross across it, and there's this tremendous as the glass shatters inward into the room. And that's where we're going to take our break. As you have broken into this crypt, we're going to go ahead and we are going to take a 10-minute break. Stick around with us through the 10-minute break if you wish, or get your drinks refreshed, do what you got to do. A few things will play during the break. We're going to be back in just 10 minutes for the second half of this session. Real quick, I just want to thank everybody who's tuned in tonight, watching so far, and thank you, of course, to Star19 and Megan with the Meta subscription to get a couple extra domain dice. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes.
Are we?
Ooh, no, I almost just hit the stop streaming button with my thumb. We are back. Qualu has just shattered the
Expectations of everyone.
Exactly. The crystal window has just shattered into the crypt. Once again, I will describe this room as you now stand before it, seeing it with your own eyes. This vaulted tomb is overgrown with moss and creepers. A stone sarcophagus rests on a stepped dais in the middle of the floor. On the wall behind the sarcophagus, 2 large statues of bears grip a 5-foot diameter bronze disc emblazoned with a dozen glaring eyes. 6 desiccated corpses slump on thrones and niches along the wall. Each corpse wears a black mask made of paper mache and feathers. What would you like to do?
Dunala suggests, as Dunala always has a suggestion, that we should violently and with all prejudice destroy each corpse.
Nobody's disagreeing with him?
And then Dunala will give his reasoning being Asarak would not keep any kind of corpse or tomb in his little death trap here if they were not death traps.
Perhaps the thought of that, Dunala is the trap itself.
True. But so, we should still destroy the corpses. Any other suggestions?
I mean, to be honest, is there anything that we really need? Is there any reason why we really need to go in there?
Or this corridors, who knows where they lead. And Brilinya, you saw the stairs going this way, did you not? Or were they somewhere else?
Weren't the stairs on the other?
The stairs and balconies were the other direction.
Okay. So this is just a tomb, basically.
This is a crypt, and there is some sort of sarcophagus in the middle of the room.
Well, if you would like to leave and go the other way, Dunala will not argue.
I don't know if I like having the idea of something being at our backs.
Probably already alerted to whatever is that we're here. If we leave now, I agree with Koalu.
If that's the case, then why don't we all just stand back and let Dunala just, I don't know, chuck a fireball in there.
Ooh, you want a fireball or you want nice pebbles?
Well, if you throw a fireball in there, I mean, it's probably going to burn everything up. I mean,
is it a 30 by 30, Jake? How big is this room?
The room is roughly 30 feet. Well, it is 30 feet across from north to south, 35 feet from east to west.
All right, so a fireball in the center. Sorry.
The niches in the wall that contain the thrones with the corpses in them are 2 on the south wall, 2 on the west wall, and 2 on the north wall, spaced approximately 10 feet apart.
So a fireball would basically hit almost everything, and if I put it in the center.
It's a 20-foot radius, correct?
Oh, is it 20? I thought it was 30. Whoops. In that case.
Is it 30? I thought it was 20.
Let me look real quick.
20-foot radius would be 40 feet across, which would definitely fit.
Yeah, that would immolate the room. I'm checking something real quick before you do that, because I need to see if I need to give you one more piece of information.
Let me just look up to see if I can really twist this idea of yours around and have it blow up in your faces. Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Close the goddamn.
Okay. No, proceed.
All right, Dunala will lift his left hand, and as he does so, you see first his little twinkling lights in the center. Emerald is all his magic is now. And then overflowing out of nowhere is his beautiful sapphire and ruby and even opalesque flames expanding outwards, a roaring explosion as I will cast Fireball in the center of the room.
All right. I'm going to make 6 dexterity saving throws at disadvantage.
I should probably roll damage, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. All right, we got 25 damage.
All right, what's your DC?
So save DC is 17.
Okay, so that's going to be a fail. And let's see. That's a fail. And fail. I'm like rolling the same 2 numbers on these dice every time.
Keep doing it. I like it.
That's a fail. And one more. They all I rolled 3 times in a row. I rolled 10 and 11.
Sick.
So all 6 of them fail and will take full damage.
25 points of fire damage.
25 points of fire damage. As this fireball erupts in this entire room, you see now the room is illuminated with the burning glow of some of the foliage that was in the corner. Some of the moss and lichens and tree roots have caught fire. As the fire outlines their form, 6 wights rise up from the thrones, all of them still very much active, and I need you all to roll for initiative.
What a very good spot for another fireball. Oh my God, why do I have +8 on initiative if I never roll above a fucking 5? I got 11.
Let's see. Okay. Dunala has an 11. Qualu, what you got?
5.
Brilinya.
15.
Vale.
I also got 15.
Vale, what's your dex?
What's your dex? So, my dex is 18.
Brilinya.
My dex is also 18.
All right, you know what?
Oh, we're playing that game, are we?
All right, well, what's your shooting size then?
All right.
I need you
Thunderdome it
both
is.
from memory to recite the Canadian national anthem backwards in French. First one, no, I'm just kidding. So Brilinya and Vale will both go first. And between the two of you, you decide how you're going to do that.
How about this? We'll just be, polite and I'll say, Brilinya, you go ahead and go first.
That's so Canadian of you.
Yes, not being an asshole is so Canadian.
All right, so Brilinya goes first, Vale goes second, Dunala goes third, the Whites go fourth, and Qualu goes last. All right, Brilinya, 6 Whites have risen up and are the closest to, like I said, there's 2, as you're looking in the room, there's 2 within about 15 feet of you, and they just sort of go around the room.
So Brilinya outstretches her hand, and in similar fashion to Dunala, fire erupts. But this fire is much less impressive. It's much smaller, but it has a white light to it, almost as if it was imbued with sacred radiant energy. And she is casting Sacred Flame on one of the Whites. They have to make a dexterity saving throw.
Straight across, to the left or to the right?
Straight across.
All right, and then left or right?
Left.
Okay. They may need to make a dex save.
Yes.
That is a critical fail, so absolutely takes damage.
Excellent. That is 12 points.
12?
Yes.
It bursts into this radiant flame momentarily, and that further illuminates the room, casting stark shadows around, but still this undead creature does not fall. Is that your turn? Vale.
Right. I'm going to step into the opening. And I assume that the whites are fairly kind of close. Like they're all...
They have basically all they did was rise up from their thrones, so they're literally, one would be 5 to 15 feet away, one's about 35 feet away. So if you picture this, you're in a square room. To your left are two whites on two sides of the room. Across from you are two whites like this. They're each spaced 10 feet apart all around the perimeter, two on each wall. And Brilinya hit the one to the left, just past, across the room, just past the two bear statues holding the giant bronze disc full of eyes. Only in D&D do you hear those kinds of statements.
That's accurate. Okay, well, never mind. I thought I had a thing that could have done it, but it can't. I was thinking like I was going to channel divinity to turn the faithless, but I can't because they're undead, not fey or fiends. God damn it. So that's kind of unfortunate.
What kind of paladin are you? You can't even touch undead.
I know, right?
It's
kind of
another one.
It's kind of a piss off, really, if anything. Well, you think it would be fey or you think it would be undead too, right? But
Listen, you non-cleric, jump in there and take my fireball.
yeah,
Cradle
okay,
it to your bosom.
sure. No, but yeah, okay, sure, why not? All right, I'm gonna jump in and pull out old Painless, and I'm gonna start hacking them up.
Which way are you going, left or right?
I'm gonna jump in to the right,
Okay,
and I'm gonna attack the first one I can see.
got you.
Yar. So, that's a lot to hit. And by a lot, I mean a lot. That would be, oh god. So that's a 26 to hit.
Just hits. By the way, is there anybody here whose weapon attacks? I think you and Qualo are the only two that actually attack with weapons. That are non-magical. That's probably going to be relevant throughout the rest of the tomb. Are your weapon attacks magical, Vale?
Yes.
That was convincing.
Are they really?
Don't you have that magic thorny rapier thing that like was given to you by the gods or whatever?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah. No, they're magic, all right. I mean,
Come on, we've been playing this game for like a year and a half. I don't remember everything I gave you.
Wow, that's pretty bad, dude. Anyway, that's going to be 13 points of le damage magique.
All right, you take your first attack on this white and strip away some ribbons of flesh, but still it stands.
And my next attack is that's a 29 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And this time I'm going to use Divine Smite, a Smitey Divine. Yeah, where's that? Anyway, I'm using Divine Smite, and I'm going to use a first level. So that's the 1 plus. Oh, that's not 1. All right, first. Okay, so 5. 5 and 8 is 13, 13 and 9. So that's 22 points of damage in total. If you wanted, it's 8 points of radiance and 13 points of piercing.
So you follow up with a second attack, driving your rapier into the gut of this wight. And as your radiant energy flows through you, around where the wound is, it actually seems to just sort of sizzle and sear, opening the hole even further. Releasing your blade, this wight collapses to the ground, this paper mache and feather mask falling away.
Oh, okay, never mind. I just, that was very foolish of me. I was supposed to actually add a D8 because it was undead.
Well, remember that.
Idiot.
But that was enough to kill this one.
There you go. It shall be remembered.
Anything else?
Nope. I'm just gonna stand here and look cool.
All right, Dunala.
Dunala will lift both of his hands. And as he does so, you will see this jade and sapphire vision kind of appear halfway into the room, kind of like in the center, basically, where he dropped the fireball, and then expands outwards left and right as this beautiful mosaic of almost like a stained glass window, just emitting light, but of jade and sapphire, painted on all these sides of Utah's greatness and of Chult and of thunder lizards. I'm casting Wall of Light to cut the room in half with the Wall of Lights. I don't know if it's going to hit any of the undead wights that are like on the side of the wall, but basically I'm cutting the room in half so that way the ones on the other half of the room will have to walk through the Wall of Lights to get the veil and therefore get fucked the hell up.
So you're splitting the room in the middle?
Yes. Horizontally, so that way I'm obviously not splitting veil in the middle.
Right, so as you're looking in the room, you're splitting it. You're looking west, so you're splitting it north to south.
Yes.
Okay. I figured that's what you were doing. It's, of course, fits all the way across.
For what it's worth, it also creates a very bright light within 120 feet. So it's a very shining fucking stained window. Like, this shit bright dog me somewhere.
Each creature in its area needs to make a Constitution saving throw, blah, blah, blah. What
and
is...
the area is the 5-foot thickness of the wall.
Okay,
So if you walk to the
because
wall,
you bisected the room, you didn't actually hit any of them, but you did cut 4 of them off to the west, or to the western side of the room.
And how big is this ledge that Dunala's like how could the whites crawl up and get Dunala? Does he think so?
What do you mean ledge?
Because Mike Vale jumped into the room. Is it I thought it was like a balcony and you jump off?
No,
just
you guys keep projecting the balcony that's to the east onto this room.
Okay,
The window was basically a doorway. You're on the same level of ground, so there's no elevation change.
All right.
When I say jump in, I mean I'm jumping in through the doorway or threshold. Or...
So then Dunala will move 15 feet back from the doorway, so that way he has people in front of him to keep him from being.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. So I'm looking at the thing here. Yep. Okay. So that's going to take us to the whites. So Qualu is still in the doorway. Vale kind of moved around him. Brilinya, are you still in the doorway? You just cast your spell from there. And Vale is across the room. The only one is the one that Brilinya hit. No, she hit across the room. So the only one that isn't through this wall of light is going to move toward Brilinya and Qualu. And that is a distance of about 15 feet. So, evens, it's Qualu. Odds, it's Brilinya. Odd, it's Brilinya. As this creature comes lunging towards you, Brilinya, it is going to... It has a long sword in one hand, and it lunges towards you but feints with the blade and instead reaches out with its hand to attempt to grab you. And that is going to be, these dice suck, a 10 to hit. It doesn't quite get close enough as it tries to grab a hold of you. And I'm going to say you went too far back. There are going to be, at disadvantage because of the light, arrows come shooting out of the light from across the room. Vale, an arrow comes shooting towards you. At disadvantage, that is a 9 to hit. An arrow just completely misses you. A second arrow is coming towards you, Vale. At disadvantage, that is going to be a 19 to hit.
It does not hit, but I feel the wind on it. Matter of fact, the feathers, the feathered end tickles my nose as it kind of shoots past.
Yeah, as you sort of turn to watch the one that missed you, you just turn your head in time. That micro adjustment is what saves you from getting pierced. And then Qualu, that's a 9. It clatters off the frame, knocking some broken glass loose. That was 1, 2, 3. And then Brilinya, that is going to be a 15 to hit. An arrow shoots across the room from that left side, coming out of this wall of light, and it strikes you, dealing 3 points of damage as it just sort of cuts through your sleeve on your shoulder and slices through your bicep. It cuts a bit of a gouge in there, but it's only 3 points of damage. And that is their turn. Qualu, you get to go. There's only one of these things, and he's right in front of you.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull down just retribution on this thing with my massive greatsword. Give me some attack rolls here. I'm gonna activate my fighting spirit just to give myself some temporary hit points and advantage on all attack rolls this turn. So I get some hit points. That's gonna be a 25 to hit.
Yes, that will in fact hit.
And that'll be 11 plus 8, 19 points of slashing. And does it still stand?
You cut a massive gouge across its chest, yet it still stands.
Right. Attack number 2 coming down then. Oops. Oh well. All right. This is going to be a 16 to hit. That was pretty low of a roll.
It still hits.
Oh, I'm so glad. All right. It's going to be... I get to reroll that one. 4, 7, 15 points of damage.
On the return swing, it's like your sword just remembers its first path and finishes the job, bisecting this creature from hip to shoulder. It falls into pieces, collapsing to the ground. Another papier-mâché and feather mask clattering away from its desiccated face. We're back to Brilinya. There are 2 dead wights in view, a brilliant, brightly shining wall of light cutting the room from left to right, from south to north, and you cannot see on the other side. The only thing you can really see of interest now are the 2 now empty stone thrones set into their alcoves, one to the north, one to the south, and the entirety of the sarcophagus is visible on the circular dais. And we're going to stay in, essentially in combat, so 6-second turns in initiative order, because I believe you only have a minute on the Wall of Light, correct?
Correct.
No, the Wall of Light lasts 10 minutes.
Oh.
Or until you drop it. It's concentration.
Yeah. But I think we should... Never mind. Go ahead.
So the one that is in front of Brilinya is dead?
Yes, Qualu just killed it.
Right. So Brilinya is going to try and approach the sarcophagus.
You can get to the sarcophagus. Let's see. Yep, you can get up to the sarcophagus, and what would you like to do?
She's going to look at it and see if there's any sort of inscription or anything on it.
It is a plain stone sarcophagus with a simple stone lid.
Okay. She's going to look to the others to see if she should open it.
No, there's a skill game and then open it. In fact, why are you over there, girl? I need to. There's still over there, just beyond the wall.
So you're not going to actually attempt to open it?
Nope. She's
All
just
right.
going to stand there.
Vale, you are standing. There's one of these dead creatures on the ground next to you. Its paper mache mask lying there also, and its empty stone throne set into the north wall.
So there are no more. The whites are all gone.
No, the other four are trapped on the other side of the wall of brilliant light that illuminates this room.
Okay. I'll probably go up to the wall, but I'm not actually going to go like into the wall. Just seems like a terrible idea. But I am going to get ready.
Okay.
So like in case the wall does fall or dies. How are those whites trapped in the wall looking? Like, are they trying to touch the wall or trying to like slam on it? Or are they getting injured?
It's a literal wall of light. You can't even see through it. It's hard to even look at it.
That's also a beautiful stained glass.
Yeah, and it has this brilliant, dazzling appearance of stained glass depicting the rise and fall of Ubtao.
Oh, that's pretty. But anyway, I'm going to stand there, get ready, look back at the others, see what. So I'm going to essentially ready at action. Is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So as soon as that wall falls, the spell fails. I'm just going to attack the first white that's closest.
All right. That then takes us to Dunala.
The 10-foot section of wall that Vale is standing in front of, Dunal will turn his hand backwards facing him and it will shatter like glass, that one section. And then he will turn his hand back around and the glass shards will reform into a long and thin yokwa, the Chultan spear that is floating in the air above Vale. And then moving his fingers, is going to look at one of the hopefully now visible whites through now this 10-foot gap in the wall, is going to throw this chunk of wall at it. So I think that's a attack roll, but it might be a save.
That's dope as hell, by the way. Just,
the spell's awesome enough, and your spin on it is incredible.
I got 18 plus 9 to hit, which I will assume will hit for the damage. 48 radiant damage. Well, I rolled like shit. That's 13 points of radiant damage is taken.
So, Vale, you're the closest to see this as this glass sort of shatters and reforms into this brilliant spear. The 10-foot section of the wall now opens up so you can see through to the other side of this room. And the white that was on the other side appeared to be in the act of, or rather like it had just settled into its throne when this spear of light pierces through it, shattering against the stone, and colored light and glass shatter around its feet and just sort of disappear as it seems like each piece just continues to shatter into pieces of light until it fades away. And you can now see, you're looking at this one as it turns its head to look back towards you. And the other one on the opposite side of the wall, about 10 feet away from it, also was seated and turns its head up to look, and it sees you.
Now, can I reach that white? Because if this triggers my
yeah. So I do hold action as you basically hold your turn.
Okay.
That's how I've always done it. So yeah, you can tell these whites are still active. So you could make it to that one that just took the damage. You could make it to either one, really.
Right. I'm gonna make it to the fresh. I'm gonna go to the fresh one, and I'm gonna make my attacks.
You mean the one that hasn't taken damage?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, you can do that without passing close within range of the other one. So go for it.
All right. Oh. Oh, look at that.
Rolls up a crit. Crits
rolls
automatic max damage, and then roll again.
Merc Sturge. And I'm going to make that one a Divine Smite. Because
This is such a overkill for this white. I like it.
Kill Whitey. All right. So okay. So a max damage one would be 3 times 8 is 24. 24 and 9 is 33. So 33 and 6 is 39. Dang it! It dropped it. But plus 1 is 40, and then that one down there looks like it's 44 points of just yeah.
As you are rushing forward, some of these dissipating, breaking shards of light from Dunala's Ubtao mosaic wall of light seem to be drawn towards your blade and provide the radiance of this attack as you thrust your rapier into the still seated, just beginning to rise white. Your rapier passes through him, and you see all around it as his desiccated flesh is perforated with the last remnants of this shattering light. Your rapier finds stone on the other side. You withdraw it, and this white collapses, slumped back into this throne, its head falling to the side, its papier-mâché mask still clinging to its face. And that's your first attack.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That's
And there is still one to your right, still seated in the throne.
white to the right.
That's right.
I will. No, wait. Can I make it? Can I make it to that?
You're literally, I mean, it took you 5, 10, 15 feet of movement to get to the one you're at. It'll take you another 5 feet of movement to get to the other one.
Okay, my bad. I don't know why for some reason I thought they were like 15 feet apart. That's my bad. Okay, so that's a 14 to hit.
That does hit.
Oh,
It just hits.
just hits it. And that's going to be 11 points of magical piercing damage.
This one isn't quite as violent. It seems almost mundane compared to the kill you just made, as you just step forward and almost nonchalantly slide your blade down into its chest and withdraw it, and it does not move. That white is also dead. All right. So I think that pretty much burns most of your movement and all of your actions.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done after that.
Now, and that was actually Dunala's turn. So there is a white. There's 2 more whites on this side. Let me check their movement. That is the wall of light. Okay, so Vale, an arrow is being shot at you from across the room. This time it is not at disadvantage. And I will roll this die.
Or
That
is
is a natural 20.
nice.
And that is my
Bring it.
die that usually rolls 1s. So that is going to crit you. It's an arrow So that's going to be 8, 10.
So I have this feature that you gave me that I negate all arrow damage forever.
I know I didn't give you that. You will take 12 points of piercing damage as you finish off this wight, and an arrow plunges into your upper right shoulder. Quickly followed by... Ooh, I thought that was going to be another crit. That is a 19 to hit.
Does not hit.
This one just misses you, shattering against the wall. And then the last remaining wight is actually going to...
Bring it.
I love D&D Beyond, but I literally have like 6 tabs open right now. So you are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet away from it. It is going to be able to make it to you. As you hear it shuffling up behind you, its longsword drawn. This one appears to have been singed from magical fire. This is the one that Brilinya hit with the sacred flame earlier. It is going to make 2 longsword attacks against you. And that's going to be a 14 is not going to hit you. And a 6 is definitely not going to hit you. It seems to be struggling to swing this sword, as if some of the, even in its undead state, some of its muscle tissue isn't quite connecting right, and these are just weak attacks against you. Qualu, from where you stand in the door of this room, you can see that something has closed with Vale on the far side of the room. Through this opening in the wall of light, it is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 feet to get to this target.
I'll do it.
All
I'll
right.
run up there, and I'll finish it off. It's just another wight, correct?
That's correct.
I will run up to it with my movement, and I will attack it at least once with my ability to attack with weapons as a fighter. That is going to be a 17 to hit.
That will hit.
For 9 plus 8, 17 damage.
You come rushing up as this thing looks almost like it's ready to try to take another strike at Vale. And you almost don't even have to attack. You just sort of swing in, leading with your blade. And you cut into it and send it flying back where it strikes the wall. And actually parts of it break off. Its papier-mâché mask falling in counterpoint to the wight collapsing like a sack of bricks. This papier-mâché mask seems to almost float to the ground. Looking to your left, you see 25 feet away the last standing wight with its longbow drawn. But I don't believe you have enough movement to get to it.
Throw your greatsword at it.
I was just gonna say, I'm just gonna whip my greatsword.
I would absolutely allow it. It's not a ranged weapon, so I would make you do it at disadvantage. But I would allow it.
With your to hit roll, dog, you're hitting it.
I am doing it. I am just
I mean,
swinging.
I can totally see this like Conan throwing this giant adamantine blade.
I will do it. I have so because of this, normally on a regular d20, I'll have a 1 in 20 chance of missing. That will be a bit amplified here, which is unfortunate. Neither of my dice are a nat 1. My lowest is a 2 for a total of 14.
14 is exactly the AC you needed to hit.
And I will swing this damage. I think that's a reroll from my fighter style. There we go. 9 plus 8, 17 points of damage.
Qualu, how do you want to end this?
Exactly how it's described so far. Just cutting through the first wight as if it was butter, and then using that momentum just to swing and just like let go, and the greatsword does one like rotation and just like cuts this wight in half before just like it clatters off of the stone. And then, but the wight's body gets pushed with momentum and goes and sizzles and burns and fries as it gets thrown into the wall of light.
Excellent. Of
And
course,
then Qualu like, "Ah!"
at this moment, Brilinya and Dunala, from your vantage points, you see Vale go rushing through the opening, and then Qualu go rushing through the opening. You hear the clash of steel, clattering of bows. You hear some roars. You hear a mighty roar from Qualu, and a ridiculously heavy metallic sound coming from the opposite side of the room, followed by this roar from Qualu. Because despite the fact of the sheer brilliance of this light, sound travels perfectly through this. So you don't see it, you just hear all of this clatter, and then nothing for a moment.
And Dunala will say, "You threw the sword, didn't you?"
"Ah!"
Yeah, I was waiting for you to throw that sword.
Oh, I missed it. Did he do something?
He threw. I can't. Vale, be quiet over. Vale, no. Anyway, sarcophagus.
And I pick my greatsword up.
You leave it there.
Everybody remembers the mistake of Aaron Dice Ellington. Or maybe they don't. I do.
I do.
I do. Not I do. Anyway, so
That's a Provoker's reference for anybody that might not know. Provoker
Letter
Season
of
1.
Death,
even though it looks like the combat might be over, Dunala will, because it has 10 minutes on a spell, he will leave the wall of light that Mosaic manifested.
Perfect. So, what would you like to do? You got a sarcophagus, you've got the 6 stone thrones, the 2 bear statues, the large bronze disc with a bunch of eyes on it, and there are now 6 dead wights with papier-mâché masks either still on their faces or lying on the grounds.
Before, or as Brilinya sees everyone, she's going to ask them if they are okay. Are you all okay? Do you need anything? Any
I need
healing?
more foes!
Yeah. Actually bust laughing when Bill's like, And they're like, "Who do you want? That's Qualu."
I'm going to I'm going to actually start going around and collecting all the masks. I'm going to put them in a pile, get a torch. I think we should burn these. If we want to have a quick look at what it is, but I think we should burn these.
I'm with it. I say that Qualu handles and he plays with that disc with eyes, or no. Qualu opens the sarcophagus and then he does the disc with eyes as me and Brilinya watch peacefully from the corridor.
Right, but we are all in agreement that we should burn
burn the mask.
Right, okay. I'm going to grab a torch and torch it. Torch the masks.
So you put all the masks into a
Actually,
pot?
Before I do, I'd like to just have a quick glance at the masks to see if there's any discernible anything on said masks in case that they are like a clue or something important to look at.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
I'll investigate, all right. Investigate good. All right, so that is a 12.
These papier-mâché masks, they covered the upper part of the face and seem to have a slightly elongated nose to them, all made of papier-mâché, decorated with black feathers around them. Looking at them, they seem pretty mundane. You don't see anything that stands out about them, other than the fact that they were just worn by these 6 wights on thrones.
Yeah, okay. I'll just pop them on the ground, light a torch, light them on fire.
They burn in mere seconds. leaving behind a pile of ash.
All right. Then I guess I'll go help Qualu open up the sarcophagus in case he needs it.
You can maybe use a sarcophagus lid Qualu as another weapon to throw at people.
Well, there you go.
You're talking foolishly.
All right,
You-
so
It has no blade. It cannot sever.
You know you want to do it, Qualu. Don't you lie to me.
It has crossed my mind.
who's trying to open the sarcophagus lid?
I think like Vale has a higher strength bonus, so I'll do the assisting of this then. Because I have a naturally high strength, we have a supernaturally high strength, which is so unfair.
Isn't he what? I'm pretty sure our dex-based paladin does not have the highest strength.
I'm pretty sure your dex-based paladin does. Look at the the D&D Beyond overlay.
Wow. Ooptown really gave you the work, huh?
No.
Ooptow is just Terry Crews.
Frog, the frog hemoth.
Train.
Oh no.
That's right. I forgot about that. Damn, 23. What the? All right.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So I'll push you pull, and then I'll give you advantage.
All right, sounds good. So I get an advantage. Avantage.
Avantage. Haha. Avantage.
All right, then that is a 24.
Ha! I could have done better.
Nice.
What was the exact condition that happened with that, Mike?
I killed a minor god.
And then it was like, yo, what's up?
Pretty much. By the dice gods, I killed now I can't remember his name.
Kubazan.
Kubazan, thank you. It was start with a K. But I killed Kubazan, the frog hemoth god, or the frog god that Ooptow gave tentacles to so he could wrestle.
Yeah, and then
him.
there was like a rush of energy or something, and you had...
Yeah, and then you're like, this is what you have now, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, you're Dovahkiin now. You just absorbed like a dragon soul.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's badass. I want to do that. Well, give me some more gods to kill.
Didn't you also gain a inherited flaw with that?
You never told me what that flaw was.
Oh. Well, it seems to fit so far with what you're doing. So I'm actually going to send that to you. I think I said I'll send that to you later, and then I never did. I'm sending it to you as a private message. So
Okay.
It definitely fits with some of the things you've done recently. So
Perfect.
You gotta hit shit. You gotta be
Oh,
qualified.
perfect. Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah, I'm remembering the exact instance of that now. So, okay, excellent.
I remember where I went wrong here.
Nope. It's everything has happened exactly as it was supposed to. So,
As I have seen.
Vale and Qualu, as you are trying to get a handle on this sarcophagus lid, you're noticing no matter how much you push and pull on it, it does not seem to budge.
If you make me cast another spell, I will
Looking
be-
closely, you can see that there's a very thin seam that could possibly somebody with dexterous fingers and possibly a set of tools could do some working inside there, but there is no amount of even your demigod strength doesn't seem to be allowing the sarcophagus lid to move.
if I blast the seam,
Stick a crowbar in there and just jump on it.
Does anybody
like
anybody have a crowbar?
if I hit the seam with like say maybe 12d8 points of radiant damage, would that destroy the seam?
Wait a minute.
I have a crow that I've taxidermized to be really, really like long, like a
Yeah.
bar. It's a crowbar.
That's terrible.
Wait a minute. You know what? I do have something kind of like a crowbar.
Thieves' tools.
I'm gonna grab my short sword.
It's a yucca beetle.
Yes, yes. It's a desiccated.
Yucca beetles are like bottle openers in Chult. Their
Yeah.
shells are so hard.
I have monster hunter's tools.
But yeah, I'm gonna grab a short sword and I'm gonna start wedging it into the seam.
Wait, I have a crowbar if you want to use that.
The blade
I
is too
have a
thick to
crowbar.
fit in the seam.
Wait, you actually have a crowbar?
I actually have a crowbar. I'm the haunted one background, which means I'm also on his tools.
That's right, you do.
So can we crowbar it?
I will allow a crowbar.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna toss that bitch and be like, yo, catch this. Like with a Jamaican accent.
And you can make a check at... Well, the two of you are working together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would give advantage, but this is going to be disadvantage, so it's going to be a straight roll.
Dang,
So
damn it.
you're going to choose... you choose, Vale, strength or dexterity.
I'm gonna have to go with strength on this one, Bob. Would it be athletics?
Yeah.
It actually would not.
Okay.
Do you have crowbar proficiency?
I do. No, I do not.
This is where the party realizes, why don't we have a rogue?
We were, but then she went and found Jesus and became an Azimuth.
Mm,
We need to give Brill some thieves tools.
that's not a bad idea.
The rogue of the party are these pythons.
Yeah.
I
And then
punch from
there's a fireball behind you when you flex.
Okay. That's still pretty high. That's a 22.
Ooh.
Not 16 on the die.
You begin working the crowbar, and you get the sense as you're moving it around and sort of twisting, prying, maneuvering it, that it's a bit like picking a lock with Qualu's giant greatsword. But you manage to maneuver something, and you hear a couple of clicks, and suddenly the lid just seems to almost rise a few centimeters. That's for you Canadian folks. Up, the seam grows, and you can get your fingers under there, and you feel like it does have a bit of give to it. And you give it a mighty push, and it slides off to the side. You see within the bones of a Zorbo lying in a dusty pile within the center of the sarcophagus. A bright golden ring sits atop this pile of bones. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna grab it.
You grab the ring, and
This is how you die.
I just got to check something.
I'm not afraid.
Mine either, because I'm way back here, and if it blows up or it curses you or turns you into Asalak, I'll be over here.
This is what I was looking for. Okay. Something interesting happens as you grab this ring.
That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing you could have said. You could have said something like, you take, and be like, okay, yeah, I know this is going to happen. Or is it not something interesting happens? Like,
You feel,
Or please make a.
as you grab
Note
this
on it.
ring, you will make something, but as you grab this ring, you feel something within you fighting against some force within the ring. I need you to make a saving throw. It is going to be a charisma saving throw.
good thing I'm good at those. Ooh, not that good. Got a 15. All in.
So, now
I'll fucking show you, Mike.
I'm going to assign Marquise, you haven't been here in a while. Roll me any die and tell me if the result is even or odd.
Or neither.
Mess him up and roll a D1.
I rolled a D12 and got a 9. Aesthetic.
Okay. Vale, all of you see Vale as he pushes this aside, reaches in, and Qualu, you see this being the closest, that he grabs this ring. Suddenly, it's as if Vale is almost exhibiting two personalities. You see this power of strength that seems to wrestle against this ring. And then you see a portion of him, he almost looks greedy, but kind of looking around nervously. And then this force of power and his muscles ripple, and then he sort of looks around, and suddenly that sort of shifty, greedy nature seems to win over. And Vale, you feel that tremendous power and strength leave your body. And I'm 100% not doing this because I know it sounds like I'm mitigating something that we just talked about, but that's not what's happening, because you feel the spirit of the trickster god of Kubazan lose its battle against the spirit of Obalaka, the thing. What the heck was it? The Zorbo.
Zorbo.
You no longer have that strength boost. Your strength will revert back to what it originally was. However, you have this new, and you no longer have that trait that I just told you. You now have a new thought in your mind.
Of course I do.
You also find that you are aware that you can attune to one additional magic item.
If only we had more of these.
And I'll tell you in a second what the ring is that you just got. I'm gonna send you a private message. This is your new inherited flaw, which is almost directly opposite of what you'd had previously, as you are now possessed by the spirit of Obalaka. And the ring that you hold within your hand is... it is a ring of protection that will give you a +1 to your armor class if you wear it and attune to it.
I'm not gonna lie, I was half expecting, like, it's a ring of 3 wishes. Here you go. Dig your own grave now, son. But apparently not.
So, as you, and I'm gonna say because of one of the features of Obalaka's spirit is that Obalaka is nervous and obsessive. And you notice, all of you would notice a sudden demeanor in Vale's, change in his demeanor, where he's been exuding this force of strength and almost recklessness moving in against these different things. He suddenly becomes almost a little smaller, and he seems to kind of be looking around. And unless you can choose to just go ahead and put the ring on right now, or you can make a contested charisma check to see if you can avoid putting the ring on. It is just a ring of protection, but I'm giving you the option to choose not to put it on. I'm not going to go, psych, it's a cursed ring.
Yeah, I'd say I'd go ahead and put it on anyway.
So you see Vale turn around and sort of looking at you all and just slide this ring on his finger.
We can tell that Vale's being like super weird and sketch right now, right? Because he opened the tomb, he reached in and he started acting weird.
Yes, it's a definite shift in his personality.
Dunala will walk up to him, and as he's doing so, he will move his hand through the air, and the Mosaic will completely break it. He's ending the spell, and these motes of light are kind of whipping around him. He will say, I'm going to try something, Vale, because you are looking weird, and I don't trust this place, and I fear you may be cursed or possessed by Aesorak himself, or maybe even the Soulmonger. And then he will take out some of his water and throw it at your face. And as he does so, the lights will go into the water and spread across you, and I'm casting protection from evil and good on you. And since it was a skeleton in the tomb, when you touched it and did this, I'm going to go with undead and hope that works. So what that means is you can't be possessed, frightened, or charmed by them, and you have advantage on saving throws against that versus undead doing these things.
Well, all right then.
I don't know if that would work on this trickster god though, because I don't know if it counts as undead or what. So oh, you don't got to pick. Let me look. Yeah, well, oh, you're right. So it's as aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. So all those things. If it's any of these, if it's not any of these, then it just wouldn't do anything.
I'm just checking.
But not deities, apparently. Not deities.
I'm hoping because it had a physical body and dead, it's just a little ghosty ghost.
No, it does not have any effect.
And as the water like falls from your face in the light, and it just kind of like it fades off of you. Well, Duran says, "Well, I tried to. I don't know if it did anything, but you still look kind of weird, Vale. Are you okay?"
What are you trying to do? You don't even know where that water's been.
Like,
Got a little blood on your face.
it's
Is it an infection or something? Do I have an infection on me? Also another thing too. Glorious GM. What about my stats? Do they change?
Your strength reverts back to whatever it was.
Crap, I don't even remember what it was. But that's
6.
Nope, pretty sure it was bigger than that. Giggity.
It would be
7.
It would if you have a record of your character sheet from before we went to D&D Beyond, it should be on there because I would hope.
Let's see. Is it abilities? It is abilities. Right.
Yeah.
Look at that. I put another modifier on this.
Oh, so you just stacked a mod to bring it up to what it was?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so it's going to revert back because you've lost the power of Kubazan. And this is a feature of the Tomb of the Trickster Gods, the Tomb of the Nine Gods. I know it sounded really shifty, but there was a legitimate contest between the two gods. And I had Marquise roll even or odd, and that determined which god won out.
Oh, I think that's totally fine.
So
the other question being, though, is that do I get another stat bonus from this one?
You do not. The bonus that you received from this one is the ability to attune to one additional item.
You want my ring, and you can
So I'm going to say, as we prepare to end tonight's session, I would like Vale at advantage, and then anybody else that thinks they could, to roll an insight check. And
I got a 4.
I'll allow you to add religion to that, if you are trained in religion.
I got a 23.
I still got a 4.
No, wait. Am I adding the religion to the insight check, or just doing either or?
Either or.
Okay, so I got a 17 total because my insight's higher.
I got a 15 for religion.
Vale, you are the only one that, because you're the only one that's experienced it, perhaps, you are fully aware now with this, having experienced this contest between Kubazan, the Froggamoth, and the spirit of Obalaka, the Zorbo. You felt this conflict within you, and Obalaka won out, pushing out Kubazan. You now know that the trickster gods that inhabit this tomb, their spirits are alive within the tomb and have the ability, potentially at any point in time, to possess any one of you or more. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Well, I ain't saying a damn thing about that. I'm going to have some fun with that shit.
So, Yeah, the only reason I'm calling it in right now is I have to go about 30 minutes away to pick up my daughter from somewhere, or I would gladly have gone on for a little bit longer. So we will pick up next week with you guys having a chance to discuss what just happened, explore the rest of this room, and choose where else you want to go within the tomb. So, thank you, Mike, Marquise, Megan, and Connor. It's good to have you all back, to have Dunala back in the fray, and that you all were able, through the two healers, to survive what looked like a dire situation, to face hopefully many, many more dire situations in the Tomb of the Nine Gods. Thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight. Saw quite a bit of activity in the chat there. So thank you everybody who tuned in. Thank you for, again, to Dice on Ice and Starn for the subs, boosting up those domain dice. Tune in tomorrow night, hopefully, for a return to All That Glitters, with Mike as the DM, Megan and I as players, along with Dwight and Cassie. And then on Tuesday, I'll be over on Dice on Ice with Connor and Megan and a couple others for Curse of Strahd. We'll be back on Thursday at 8:30 for Dawnbringers, The Ghosts of Saltmarsh, Season 3, Episode 5. And tune in next Sunday for Episode 47 of Chult of Personality. Thank you everybody for watching. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. We're going to end the stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
With a spike train.